So this is for all the crazy people, for anybody who doesn't want to just live an average life. In order to craft a life that you love more than the life that you have today, you have to start being a little bit irrational. George Bernard Shaw said, reasonable people adapt themselves to the world. Unreasonable people adapt the world to themselves. All progress, therefore, depends on unreasonable people. So you have two options right now. You can either be one of life's reasonable people, or you can be somebody who's slightly unreasonable, someone who demands more from life. You can be world class, or you can fit into the world. You don't get to do both. Now, this is where you get to develop the interior core, where it doesn't matter if people call you crazy. One of the things limiting you from your income, your impact, your world-class life is probably that you care too much about what other people think about you. I mean, think about it. It served us for thousands of years. We wanted to fit into the crowd because if we left the crowd, we'd die of starvation or we'd be eaten by saber-toothed tigers, right? But we're in a modern age now. We're frightened. We're terrified that if we leave the crowd, something will happen. But you can be a titan or you can be average. You can't be both. And to be part of the world class, you've got to do something more. You've got to pray, you've got to meditate, you've got to journal, you've got to do affirmations, declarations. Be around those kind of people who don't care about what anybody else thinks about them. Because there's one thing that I've learned, and that is that everyone has an opinion. So why let the opinions of other people deny you from a life that's going to make history? You must get in touch with a sensation in your body, a tingle that leads you to do things that you are right for, you are designed for. It is absolutely essential to go out and do the most dangerous thing possible, which is to follow your heart. Trust your instinct, trust your intuition, and forget about the success. Forget about winning in a world. Forget about the stacking. Forget about gaining and getting and amassing more and more wealth. These things will come, and they will come properly, and they will feel good. It will be soon when they come, and if you're on the right path, it's going to happen. If you don't know what your path is, I don't know what you're good at. If you don't have any inspiration and you're dragging down a path, then you have to start experimenting, right? You have to start going with the hunches, go with the feelings, go with the non-traditional path, the path less traveled. Go where you can be a pioneer, do something new, be brave, be revolutionary, be a leader. Get outside of the square box thinking. Go color outside the lines and break out of your box. And that is the freedom where you can explore, be aware, make crazy decisions, but make them grounded in your heart. Your gift every single day is a gift, and you have to exercise that, and you have to start sharing the gift that you have. Welcome, guys, to day 4. It's been a journey, right? Today is offer day, where we're going to start making some money. Now, who here is ready to start making money? Okay, perfect. Let's start doing it. Just because it's a transformation from not knowing what the heck it is that you're doing into playing all out, finishing what you started and going for these crazy actions of going, doing the lives, to making friends, to learning people's stories, to building connections and a tribe, to feeling energized with what it is you're doing and excited about your path and the journey in our business and what your possibilities really are, and how to clarify on what it is that you need to understand and how we're going to move forward. How we're going to grow, that is our next step. That's what these videos are all about. Now, it's not only to bring you to the right path, because I'm sure that you're probably on the right path, but you have to start confirming to yourself that you are on the right path. But really what we're doing here is we're helping you grow into these new habits. Now, as you probably know, because I've said it before, and I know you remember everything I say, right? Well, there's three parts to the challenge. There's the habit part, there's the training part, and then there's the action part, okay? And all three of these are really important. It's not just about the training. It's about all of it together. And that is what we are in life. This is holistic, right? It's mindful. It's all about what we do, not just what we do, but it's all of what we do. Now, I'm so excited for you guys who are here today with day number 4, and keep showing up, keep doing the work, keep doing your actions, and watch the replays if necessary. And it's really cool that you're just doing it. You've got to make time to do it, and I really respect you that you are. You don't have to be 100% clear on how to move forward, okay? You don't have to know what it's like next to take that next step. You just have to take that small step. You take action with a directional type of action, okay? And we want to take directional action. We don't want to take just any kind of old action, directional action. So yesterday I asked you to do something that was outside a lot of your comfort zones, to pick and choose something you specialize in that maybe you haven't thought of before. It was kind of confusing. Maybe it was scary. Maybe you just weren't sure. But it probably feels good now to articulate it and to verbalize it, right? Just to get it out. Because your goal is just to try it on. It's like a jacket, because you're trying it on like your clothes, right? You're trying it on to see if it fits. And when you go shopping, you try on a bunch of different things until you find that one that is right. With this, it's the same thing. You know, this is going to be a keeper. Same with your niches. You try on a bunch. And when one is a good fit, based off the feedback that you get from other people or based on the money that you're starting to make, then you're really going to start to clarify and get your message even more niche down. So if you're going and trying all of these niches, but you're not getting great feedback, people are a little confused or they don't understand what you're doing, then some feedback is that maybe you need to modify it a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to get into day number 4 now, but I want to clarify with you just before we continue to put you onto the best path possible. I want to clarify some things about the niche, because it's really important that one rule for the niche is that we're not going to use metaphors. We're not going to use freely language that our market is not going to understand. No jargon. So when we start to talk about the who we're helping, we don't just kind of jumble it all up. So that when the people who we're really helping don't understand what it is that we're trying to help them with, we need to be really clear, we need to be concise, and we want to make it simple. And we want to make it simple enough that a kid would be able to understand it. Explain it to me like a 10-year-old, okay? No metaphors, just plain English or whatever language you're, doing this in. Anybody who's got anybody or who's anybody has to be able to understand when you speak about what it is that you do. And it's really, really important to be super clear on that. Our market needs to make the decisions that we are the right person for them, right? We do not make the decision. They, your potential prospect clients, they're the ones who are seeing your messaging, and they are the ones who decide whether we are a fit for them. So I want you to be able to talk to someone and say, hey, this is what I do. For example, I help authors do digital marketing, or I help authors with Facebook ads, or I help authors grow their online business, right? Anything specific. It's good because it's getting more and more specific, okay? So, for example, we can also add on something even more specific. For example, 10 days to do this, or 7 steps to achieve whatever. But I want to make sure that we're not getting too specific where we're cutting off a big chunk of the market. So, for example, if I was to say, I help business owners get 20 leads a day, right? That could be a title for my webinar or an ebook or, some form of PDF that I'm doing. But this is a mix of my avatar, and I'm mixing it that I'm going too deep and it's too specific. There's too much demographic in there. You have to shorten it up and make it a little bit more punchy without being too specific, that you just get very, very narrow. You don't want to go too narrow with this. So thinking about it again, like if you say, I help people with health and wellness, how do you chunk that down? What part of health and wellness do you help people with? What part of health and wellness? And remember that we're talking here about, we want to talk about the results so that people know and understand what results specifically it is that they can expect from us. Now, you don't want to be so specific that you only help these people, but you should be really doing one thing, only one thing, until you're making 10K a month. Until that time, though, when you will have more resources to start to broaden up things a little bit more, and you can start to add in a few more things. But in the meantime, initially, you need to start specializing in one thing. You win when you're competing against everyone else. Not really, though. You win when the right person gets the right message at the right time. That is when you win. So when you're trying to market to everyone or put your message in front of everyone in the general sense, that means you're not speaking to them at all, and you're not being specialized, and you're losing out to people who are specializing. So offer is hugely important, okay? So the number one reason that I believe that a lot of people struggle in business is because of their offer. Okay, so what is an offer? Well, it's the way that you present to your potential customers to get them to buy. Now, there's a couple of different ways to look at this, okay? So it could be your proposal. It's the situation when you are presenting your product or service, right? E-commerce wise, it could be when you're trying to sell a single product online, or creating an offer, in this case, can be a little bit more challenging. An offer is really a way to package your stuff together so that people can understand a little bit more of the value that it is that you're giving them. So one of the most important things that you've got to understand is that when we create some sort of proposal or offer, there's a lot of different emotions and logics involved that people will go through when they are making a buying decision. So people generally, if it's like a one-on-one thing, they'll look at it from a price point versus the amount of money that they're willing to spend. So they compare it versus the price. But when you create an offer, you're looking at from a more value point of view. Okay, so let me explain. You need to sell the sizzle, not the steak. Okay, I'm a vegetarian, but I'm still going to say this. You have to sell the sizzle, not the steak. So, for example, you go to a restaurant and you see the menu and the waiter comes over and says, okay, what is it you'd like? And you order something off the menu, right? This is not a very good restaurant. A really good restaurant is one where they know how to sell, and the waiter's going to come up to you and say, okay, so these are their specials today, and here's what I'm going to recommend. And they'll talk about it. For example, they'll say, hey, well, I have a New York strip, or we have the salmon or the chicken. Well, they're not going to say that, are they? No. They're going to give you more value. They'll say, well, today we have a New York strip that's been aging for 10 years and sitting in the marinade for the last 5 hours, soaking it all up, soaking all the juices up so that our amazing chef can go in and make sure that he garnishes everything perfectly so that when he sprinkles on his last seasoning and adds it to taste, it melts in your mouth. Now that's our special number one. Let me tell you about the salmon, for example. Does that not sound better? So what's the opportunity here that you have? The opportunity is to sell the sizzle, not the steak. It's to sell the razzmatazz, not the thing. The steak is just a commodity. Everybody has commodity. Everybody has a product. Everyone's got a service. Everybody's got what you've got. The trick is to dress it up, slap lipstick on a pig, so to speak. It's how you value it. It's how you unpack it and then present it. That makes all the difference. And how people make a decision gets easier that way, right? So you can sell a service or product. Can you do it? Well, without an offer? Well, sure you can. We do it all the time. When the value is there, when the price is there, when it feels good, you can do that. But it does make it harder. And my goal for you guys is to make it as easy as possible, okay? So I'm going to walk you through all of this. And this is something that I like to call the offer factor. And I want you to think of it like an iceberg, okay? All of us feel like icebergs sometimes because all you see is just a little bit at the top, but the absolute bulk of the work and everything is underneath the water, right? It's the same with this. It's the tip of the iceberg. It's so much easier when we just see the tip, but we need to understand what is underneath it as well. Most people's product or service is just the tip of the iceberg. So without an offer, you're at the top, but all you see is just this little tip of the iceberg. So, hey, I offer coaching. Yeah, and? Or I offer a product to help you with your health and wellness. Now you've got a product and service at the top, and you're needing to understand now that the product and the service, this is a shallow decision. And this shallow decision is what you're seeing on the top. But, it's deep. There's so much more to our iceberg, right? So we need to go deep. We need to start creating a deeper decision. And so there's a lot more to it. When we look at the person that we wanted to be with, for example, a life partner, you're not just looking, hopefully, at their looks. You're looking at the whole being, the whole part of them. Because otherwise you're just shallow. It's just artificial stuff. It's just, slap on some chrome. And that's what people really don't understand when it comes to their offers or service that they're presenting. They're not telling people what's inside. They're not showcasing the value that they're actually offering. They're just saying something like, okay, so my coaching is for the next 3 months and we'll work together one-on-one. That's so shallow. So when it's a shallow decision, what ends up happening is we make price-driven decisions, okay? And it's also more transactional exchange, meaning I'm going to give you this in return, I'm going to get that. It's like a transaction, It's like I go to the shop, pick up some milk, and that's, thank you, bye-bye. So when we go deep, that is an offer. All offers are a lot deeper because we're unpacking what's inside. So what that means is we are now value driving, not price driving. We are working on our values and we're giving them a lot more value. And now we're going to have an exchange that's outcome-based exchange. So you're going to give me money and I'm going to give you this result. You're going to give me money and I'm going to give you this transformation. You're going to give me this, bit of money and I'm going to give you this outcome. Now, hopefully this is starting to hit home for you people. You have to sell a transformation. I don't want to buy a product from you. I don't want to buy a service from you. I want to buy a result from you. I want to change. I want my transformation. And so when you present to sell in a specific way, when there is an outcome exchange, the decision making is much easier because the reason that people will buy something like that is because they can see themselves and imagine themselves on the other side of the gap. Okay, so let me make this example one more time so it makes sense to you. Okay, so we have a problem and we're teaching people how to overcome this problem. So when we make an offer, it has a promise attached to it, okay? Now, the reason that I'm going to be making a buying decision is because I'm going to visualize myself with the problem solved. Isn't it great? Have all your problems solved. If you only offer me a product or a service, it's really difficult for me to imagine my problems being solved. And we're entrepreneurs, people. We solve problems for a profit, right? So if you're solving someone's problem, you need to articulate your offer. How are you solving it? What's your problem? Promise even. What's your problem? Okay, so how are you solving it? What's your promise? What are you offering? What's the outcome? The reason people buy is because they can imagine themselves getting their problem solved. You can finally be the person who can help them. So here are 3 things that we need to offer, to have in our offer. And I'm also going to share with you the things that will help your offer as you're putting them together. Okay, so there's 3 P's to an offer. So you need to understand when you're presenting your offer, you need to know what your promise is. If you don't know what your promise is, how can your potential person, your market, your customer, how can they know what your promise is? You're selling some form of transformation. You're selling a result. You're selling an outcome that they're going to be getting. So that's the first P. And the promise comes in 2 different ways. We have an external promise, and we have an internal promise. And an external is something tangible. So just say that your thing is, I help you do this. So what's the external thing that they're going to be getting from it? Okay. And maybe there's an internal promise as well. So the external is something on the outside. That's the result. But what's the internal promise? Well, how are they going to feel? How is it going to change them on the inside? Guess what? We never, ever want to start anything with just an internal promise. I keep confusing those two words today. We always just want to start with an external promise and then bring it in. Why? Because we're selling something which is helping people, and they need to be able to imagine what it's like for their problems to be solved. So what basically that means is that externally they need to know that it's tangible, but because they won't be able to imagine what it feels like because they haven't gotten those results ever yet. They're not at that stage yet. So if you say something like, oh, you're going to feel more confident, you're going to get unstuck. Well, unfortunately, that person's not confident, or that person's probably still stuck right now. So they probably don't know what it feels like to be unstuck because it's not something they've been through before. And so when you're only talking about internal levels, they're not going to get it. So what does that mean? So you have to be able to walk up to any person at, for example, a networking event with confidence and ease, look them in the eye and give them your elevator pitch without hesitation. Now, it's a way that they can imagine what it's like when I solve my problem to be more confident, for example, right? Now they know that internally they're going to feel really, really good about everything that they're going to be able to do, because now they're going to feel more secure. They're going to be more confident when they do go to that networking event, right? That's the external versus the internal. And then when we're going to do the problem, okay, there's also the external and the internal. So external, internal. This is the outer casing and how we feel about it. External is more objective and internal is usually more subjective. Now, they're feeling certain ways, right, inside. They're feeling different feelings on the outside. Now, what are those feelings causing? Are they causing rifts, for example, or are they causing them to not do well financially, or are they causing fights with their partners? Are they causing headaches? Are they causing night sweats? So that's external versus the internal. Internally, you feel sick, your stomach hurts, you feel like, right? Sure, we've all felt that before. Okay, so those are the three P's. And then we have the process, okay? The process is simply remember that you are filling the gap. This is your process of filling the gap. These are your steps. This is your strategy for filling the gap. So from their problem to your solution. So you have to have a process. So for example, my 7 steps to do this, or my 6 ways to build your first 1,000 true fans. That's a process, right? That's gradual. We can do something like that, right? So one of the ways that we can present an offer now is to incorporate that. Now remember, if you can cover this even when you're talking to someone, then you can get them, if you can get them to verbalize what it is that they would like, what end results they see for themselves, what problems they're going through, or what's happening to them, what they've tried, and, you know, and how then when you talk to them, you tell them, well, hey, well, I'm sorry you went through that, but, you know, my process can help you overcome that problem. My process will help you overcome that challenge. My process will actually help you with the thing that you've already tried, because I've been able to overcome that for other people as well. And so now my promise is leading them to the promised land of what it is that they want. Now, remember, one of the things we want to do is we want to have a sales system. So one of my favorite ways to put a sales system into place is a strategy call. And that's getting someone on the phone or Zoom, right? That's a strategy call. Now, I'm going to give you something that I teach my highest level people. Does that sound good? Would you like to have some of that? Okay. So the reason why I prefer a strategy call is that is because I recommend that people start with a strategy call, because, I believe in, well, by now, learn as you earn, right? And learning is really, really big. When I say to people, build a course, I don't generally tell people to build a course, or I don't tell them to build a webinar, because I tend to think that's a really dumb thing to do if you don't know your process yet. You don't know your marketing, so it's probably going to be a huge waste of time, because the webinar is a really hard sales letter, and they're really hard if you don't know your market, if you don't know what language to use. So how do you know your market? Well, how do you really, really get to know what it is that they want, so that we can then add it to our marketing? Well, we want to start at the back. I will reverse engineer it backwards to the front, right? So most people will be like, all right, build a course and then build a webinar. And they're like, yeah, people aren't buying. Why not? It's because they don't really understand the promise, the problem, nor do they understand the process, right? We have to understand those three things. It's vital. Once we understand them, then we can really start to build our marketing around it, around our messaging, and use it in every single part of our sales system. As our funnel is our way of taking someone from a cold person, cold prospect, to a red hot buyer, it has to be something that is congruent. The message has to be congruent across the entire funnel. Okay, that's why I like to start with the one-on-one calls. That's why I love doing strategy calls, because I learn the process, right? And you need to understand the process so that you can start getting people consistent results. We need to be specific with the people that we're helping. So that way, by doing the strategy calls, we get to practice, so that we can get consistent results with that type of person, that everything leads together. Everything that I'm talking about leads together, right? You see it? Good. So so the way that we actually learn more about these people, so that we can create more of a process, or more of the marketing that we can start to use, is through the strategy call. And it's huge to understand the gap that our market is experiencing. And our goal on a strategy call is for someone to identify themselves, that they understand that they have a gap between their problem and their goal. And this is not done in any manipulative or sleazy or schemy kind of way. No, the point of the strategy call is for them to self-identify with what they need help with. And they need to know that they need help now. And if they want this problem solved, well, everything that they've tried in the past, it has never worked for them. So the goal of the strategy call is to get them to clarify what it is that they want. Okay? So if you're like, I don't know what my promise is, or I don't know what people want, get on the phone and ask them. Ask them what their goals are. Ask them what they want in terms of X, Y, Z, right? Strategy call. So a strategy call is also a mini sales call. It's when you're strategizing and brainstorming why your product is right for them, or why they're the right fit for you. And when you ask them, what are your goals? What do you want? What's your vision? So, for example, what do you want in terms of your health? What's the problems that you're running into? What's the obstacles that are you facing? And they now tell you, are they now not telling you what the problems is? Isn't right now an opportunity to listen to where it is that they want to go, what it is that you need to use in your course, the results that they want, the outcomes that they want? Are they not telling you the problems that they're having and the obstacles that they're facing? And you say, okay, so what have you tried so far? Are you not telling them, or they're telling you the objectives and the things that they need to overcome in the future? And now you know what you need to create so that you can help these people, so that you can address these issues. And you say, oh, well, it sounds like you've probably tried something like this and this and this, and that hasn't worked for you, right? Why? And they'll tell you, say, okay, well, I've created this process with that in mind. So if you've tried this, then this is really going to work for you. So basically, you're asking the questions of the problem the promise, and the process, right? And they are the ones now articulating it. And when someone articulates it to themselves, it's a lot more powerful and they start to get it a lot more now. So if you hear it enough times, that's good enough for you to go to your marketing copy or your webinar copy or any other copy that you're putting together. And then you can identify and you can, start to feel how they're feeling. And so when you're just guessing all this stuff, or you're trying to go off your own experience, you're going to miss the mark 9 times out of 10. And this is why I don't like to do all of this stuff in advance, up front when I don't understand it yet. Because I want to learn as much as possible about my prospect and about their problems and about their issues so I don't miss the mark. So most of you articulated on day 1, right, that you need more leads. Yeah, I need to focus on getting more leads. I want to get 10 more leads in these next 90 days. Well, wouldn't it be really, really silly for me not to offer you guys something to get you more leads? I've learned from you guys as well. And I've learned in the past that you guys generally always need more leads. So I'm not going to offer you expanding your business because that'd be silly. That's just missing the mark. So I'm going to offer you something about getting more leads. And whether you take it or not, that doesn't matter. But I want you to understand the process of how it works. Because you basically told me what you want. You've told me that this is what you need. This is the result that I've had so far. These are the problems that I'm facing. So you guys are not trying to guess anymore. And I don't want you to guess at it. Now, you need to figure out what the problems truly are that your audience is facing. And guess what? Then you're going to start hitting the mark because you're listening now to what it is that they're saying, not only to what it is that you're saying. Now, the market is where is determined what it is that we need to do. If you're not learning, well, you're definitely not going to be earning. The best, most profitable, most successful people in business have learned exactly what it is that their customers want, what they're going through, and how to deliver the results that they want. Not that you say, not just what you say that it is that they want, but that they tell you that it is that they want. So the way you talk to the right people is by finding those people and learn where it is that they hang out. Work out where it is that your target market is and then just start to talk to them, okay? So let's get to the offer part. So when we're doing an offer, it's really important that we understand the value of the what our offer needs to come out of. We need to start unpacking what it is that we're doing. So there can be really easy things that you can do, right? And one of them is something called value stacking. And Russell Brunson, he's the founder of ClickFunnels, he does this really, really well. And the number one reason that people don't make a buying decision is because they feel like the risk is greater than the value that they're getting. And that's big, okay? The risk is greater than the value that they are getting. Remember this one. So if they feel that the risk is greater than the value that they're getting, you have a problem. You need to have a successful offer. You need to start presenting the value. You need to start showing that this is greater than the risk. And you don't necessarily have to give anything away, right? It doesn't mean that you need to start offering your services for free. They just need to know that you're committed to making sure that you're taking away the risk for them, okay? Now, you just committed and there is enough value that they can see. You basically want the feeling to be like, hey, I'd be really silly not to take this opportunity. I'd be missing out, right? That is how you want them to feel. Missing out because this is such a good opportunity, right? Okay, so that is a great advantage to have. It's exactly what you need. You want people to say, hey, this is exactly what I need. So how do you make them value bigger than the risk? Okay, you have two options here. You can go with your normal boring product or service. And I'm going to use coaching again as an example, okay? So I'm going to give you 5 coaching sessions for high performance for $1,000. Okay, so that's the normal way that people would do it. Now, I have this product or service, and you're going to get X amount of quality for a certain amount of time. Blah, blah, blah. It's bland. It's vanilla. There's nothing to it, right? There's no emotion. It's all just exterior. You know, this is very, very common, right? You see it all the time, I'm sure. Now, in my head, in my logical head, I don't think in results. I'm thinking in exchange right now, right? I'm thinking transactional exchange. So I get 4 sessions for $1,000. That's 250 bucks per session. Okay. So this is how people are going to start thinking. $250 for 60 minutes. Is that worth it? That seems like a lot of money to me. I don't know if I want it that bad now. That's what people are thinking. I don't know if I want it that bad now, right? Because they're not thinking in the transformation. They're not thinking in the results. So if, for example, a hypnotherapist asked me, what are the problems that you're going through right now? Well, one of the problems that I'm going through at the moment is that I tend to wake up in the middle of the night and I have a really hard time getting back to sleep. And probably because I'm thinking about all this awesome content that I'm trying to help people with, and I just have all these crazy ideas. On top of that, I have a cat who likes to jump on top of me from time to time. But, you know, so one of the things that I'd like to work on is how do I sleep throughout the night and actually wake up feeling rested so I can be fully productive the next day. So that's a little example. So if a hypnotherapist was now going to say, okay, for 3 months, we're going to do this. It's going to cost you $2,000. But by the end of the 3 months, you're going to be able to sleep throughout the night, you know, 9 out of 10 nights. What am I going to say? Take my credit card, please. Because now you're talking results. Now you're talking what it is that I want. Now you're talking about the problem that I'm having. And you can see it now. You can see that this now becomes the offer itself. It's result-based. It's a transformational-based offer. Right? So there's different ways you can do the right offer so that you can unpack your training or your offer or your product, right? And one of the ways that you can unpack the, you know, your whatever it is that you're trying to sell is by showing benefits, not in a feature way, because, you know, like we all have features now. It's a benefit. So, for example, my coaching session, if I was going to take, you know, this 4-part coaching session, I would say, all right, get 4 sessions with me for 60, you know, seconds. Minutes even. 60 seconds would be really good, wouldn't it? So also you get my done for you templates that I've created for you to be able to practice on an ongoing basis throughout, and you get access to me 3 times a week for any 911 help, and you also get a workbook with different exercises. And in addition, I've recorded 5 meditations for you that you can listen to on an ongoing basis, so that we can use your unconscious part of your brain as well and train it to trigger when you start, so that you're energized and getting into the high performance straight away. All of that is part of my training of the coaching. It's called my high performance for young professionals. You see now here, I'm looking at, hey, you know, we've got 4 sessions versus, okay, you get 4 sessions. I'm starting to pay for the package, right? I'm going to pay you more now because your coaching sessions are going to encompass all of that stuff. Who knew that though beforehand when you just say, okay, 4 sessions, you know, once a week, and that's $1,000. No one then knew because you didn't tell anyone. No one in your market knew. So you need to unpack what it is that you're doing with them and make it really beneficial for them. So a good way of doing benefits so that they understand that this is value versus risk is, well, you know, doing that, showing the benefits. Number 2 is another easy way, and that's to create bonuses or add-ons, like complimentary offers as little add-ons. Now, these would be clear objections that, you know, people have tried and failed on in the past. Now, that's a really good little takeaway. So an objection would be, for example, I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough time. I don't think that I can do this, or I, you know, I don't know if that's an objection. I'm lazy, but, you know. So a good bonus would clear some of these beliefs about what they're doing, right? So the belief, for example, of I don't have enough money or I don't have enough time. So like you'll see tomorrow when I create my offer, is that I've made certain specific bonuses that are clear, specific objections. Again, this is all, learning for you guys right now. I'm doing this so you can see it in real time, okay? And I'm being very transparent about it because I'm not scared to make you an offer, because I want to offer you something that's going to help you, and I want to continue working with you because I am here to help. So I want to walk you guys through what I'm doing, which is really cool. Now, I never tend to jump on a call with someone without them knowing, listen, I'm going to be making you an offer to see if you are the right fit. If not, then that's fine. At least we'll have some clarity together, right? So bonuses, clear objections are, or clear objections, you want to add those. So for example, the objection could be, well, I've tried this in the past. Now you could add a bonus or an add-on saying, okay, well, I've created this little training for you on people who've gone through something similar to this and had a bad experience. So I've created a little bonus for you to clear this objection. Good, right? So, I've created it for you and it's called Clear Your Objection. So you add it on, you put it as a bonus, and you can build excitement around this, but you also want to make sure that it does actually add value and, that it's not a point for them. So you don't just want to stack on bonuses for the sake of stacking, but you want to make sure that it's all part of the buying decision and you're taking away their objections. So if I was going to say, well, I'm going to help you create a sales system, one of the things that I'm going to come up with for you is, well, I need more leads to get into my sales system. So then one of my bonuses is probably going to be, well, I'm going to give you a video on how to get 100 new leads into your sales system. Now they don't have that objection anymore, right? Well, hopefully. So I hope that's helpful. Is that helpful? Brilliant. Okay. Let's talk about price justification. So you don't need to go low in price. You don't need to be a Walmart or a Costco, what have you. You don't need to beat yourself up in price and just, fall over backwards anytime somebody starts talking about getting, money off. But you do need to justify when you're talking to them properly, right? And you need to justify why your price makes sense for them. You don't need to be the lowest price, you don't need to undercharge, and you don't need to be cheap. Please remember that. Don't compete on price. That would, I hope this is really helpful for you guys. Open your ears, because you do need to justify what it is that you do, but don't ever undercut on price. So a great example is you can go in, for example, to business school, right? I went to business school. I got my MBA. But, you can basically go and pay, I don't know, 20,000 a year, 50, I don't even know how much it is, right? A lot of money. And you're doing that for 4 years. So, let's call it 20,000, 100,000. That's a lot of money. Or you can pay $1,000 for, a month. And I'm going to coach you. I'm going to train you to learn more than what you would in 4 years of business school. And I'm going to show you how to start creating money in a 90-day cycle. So you can go for 4 years and spend like 100,000, or you can pay me 1,000, and I'll teach you in 90 days that you can get better results than 99% of these people. Now that's a price justification, right? So are you justifying your price? Another one could be a return on investment, okay? So if I could tell you that you're getting X amount of time in return, or you're getting 100K or 100% return on investment, what'd you pay for that? Most people are going to be jumping through hoops. Oh, I'll pay whatever, right? Because you're justifying your price. So we're justifying a price by comparing to real world experience, right? Real world stuff, real things that are going on. So they understand what the difference in price is. Please, one more time, do not beat yourself on price. Just justify it. So for a lot of my high-end coaching, we do justify our prices. So, you can spend the same amount of money that I've spent since 2007 learning all this stuff, just thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So, go ahead and spend, close to $1 million probably, and spend 15 years plus learning this. Or would you like me to tell you exactly what I've done? I can give you the campaigns that I've run. I can give you the templates that I use. I can give you exactly what it is that I do. And you can get access to all of that. But that's going to cost you this price, right? So what would you rather do? You can work on price, or you can, here's another thing that you can do. You can work on price as a case study. So you could say, for example, well, normally we charge $5,000 a month for this, but since we want to do a case study program with you, we're doing 20 people for 500 instead, with the promise that when they're done, you're going to give us a testimonial and a case study. So you can do that as well, right? You can play with the price. So it's normally this, but I want you to pay that. Like, this is the normal tuition, but this is what you pay right now because it's Valentine's Day, or, whatever kind of day it is, because I'm running this offer, or because you took a quick decision, you took decisive quick action, or you are, what if you decide, before the end of this call. So that's a really good one. Now, risk is probably one of the strongest factors that you can have in your offer. Risk reversal, unpacking what it is that they get. So they need an understanding of what they really get. So for example, beef up the offer, don't compete on price, compete on your offer. So for example, you're in the travel industry. Well, okay, so someone's going to meet you at your hotel if you're in a foreign place and no one speaks English, and they're going to help you check in, but they're also going to make sure that you're taken care of, and they're going to give you a little video recording welcoming you to the city and give you a virtual tour of what it is you can do in the city. Now, that little touch makes it so much gentler than, okay, hey, just book my travel thing and we're going to get you handled, okay? What you're offering is a done-for-you service. You want to add your value. You want to unpack what you can do. You want to make your thing just sound better. Okay, so that's all you want, and you want to make it sound better. And most of you guys have all of this. That's why I say unpack it, because you have it, but you've still got to wrap it up. Okay, take it out the box. Stop hiding it. Stop hiding it from your people. Okay, risk reversal. So everyone does this all the time. 30 days money back guarantee. If you're not completely satisfied with what we're giving you, then no questions asked. Here's a refund. Now, that's a pretty big risk reversal, right? So when you say, basically you're saying you don't even have to think about paying until day 29, right? It's another way of phrasing it. Another way of risk reversal is if you don't want to do money back thing because you're giving so much content, you give a commitment. People just want to know that you're committed, right? You're committed to them. So commitment is say, okay, well, here's the outcome. I'd like you to do this. If you don't get that outcome, but I see that you're trying and you're doing everything that I'm telling you to do, and you're really working at it, right? You have to be working at it, and I have to be able to see, you have to be able to prove that you're working it. Then I'm going to give you another 30 days, or I'll continue working with you until you get X result, or until we see progress, or, I'll give you another 60 days free. After that 60 days, if you're still not getting it, I'll give you 50% of your money back, and we'll just call it quits from there. Right? So basically you're saying, I'm taking away your risk. I'm trying to give you as much commitment as you can. And, I'm being confident with that. There is so much crap out there, people. There is so much bad material. There are so many people just trying to sell a dream, and they're full of crap, excuse my language. They are ruining the market, and they're not authentic in any form of way. They're not transparent, and they're just out to get your money. There's a lot of jerks out there. There's a lot of people who are, jaded. And so they want to know that they're not going to get scammed, right? People just want to know they're not going to scam. There's a lot of scammers out there. You can earn $1,000 a day in commissions if you do this. It's really annoying. It really, pardon my French, pisses me off. Okay, so people are jaded. Markets are a lot more sophisticated nowadays. So you need to take away the risk. So add risk reversal, and you're going to start seeing better results straight away. All of these things together, when we're talking about them, and we want to talk about the different parts of the problem, we want to talk about the promise, and we want to talk about the process. And then we actually are talking about the different parts to them, and we want to make sure that we are hitting the 3 P's of our offer throughout. Okay, and you're going to see this tomorrow. But this is a really good first step right now to creating an irresistible offer. That's a no-brainer, okay? Now, people, again, you want to know that you're being committed to, right? You want to take away the risk for the people. Okay, so the final one, and probably one of the strongest things that you can do, is add a real limit or a real urgency. I say real because here again, there's a lot of people scamming you. They're making things up, trying to put pressure on you. So here's the most important thing. Guys, please tell the truth. People need some sort of motivation, right? Some sort of motivation to make a buying decision. So if you just give them time, I take all the time in the world. It's okay. You do your thing. I'll just be over here on my phone, you know. Whenever you're ready to come back to me, that's okay. I'll just be over here. Yeah. No one's going to buy. Get out of your dream. That's not going to happen. You need some sort of motivation and some sort of urgency and some sort of limit to help people make a decision a little bit quicker. So one of the best ways to do this is by creating a fast action bonus. So if you're an action taker and you take action right now, right fast, I'm going to give you this awesome bonus. That doesn't hurt anyone's feelings. It just means you're a quick decision maker. You know, I could say if you make the decision right now, I'm going to give you $100 off. It's cool. But on the other hand, you know, people are probably going to get a little bit bad about the fact that they missed $100, you know, the discount. So I like to do a fast action bonus, you know, so I take away I give them an extra bonus when they take action fast. And so, yeah, you know, you might have missed out on that one bonus, but I still get everything else. I'm happy. All right. So no one really misses out. So that's a fast action. And another one is honestly, it's limits. Okay. For me, I put a cap on my time on my high-end coaching, my one-on-one mentoring, because I have a limit to my time. I'm working with my group coaching. It's like I do a lot of one-on-ones, but I only have so much time. So my time is very limited because, you know, I run the company on top of it as well. I have a lot of other things to do, and I can't have more than a couple of high-end clients a week. So it's an insane deal for the people, but, you know, I seriously can't have more than, you know, 3, 4, 5 people a week that I talk to. So that really is a limit for me. So fast action bonus. If you take fast action, I'm going to reward you for being that decision taker, for being a trailblazer. You're not sitting on the fence, and you deserve a reward for that. Well done to you. So there's a reason why. There's a reason why you should also limit some of the urgency to do it on a deadline. So if, you know, another reason would be if, for example, your day actually starts on a specific day. So, for example, you have a group coaching and you're going to start on the 1st of next month kind of thing, right? This is not false scarcity. This is telling the truth. But you do need some scarcity because you need to have people have a little bit more urgency to, you know, make a decision. So, you know, make it authentic, make it real. It will work for you because this is, you know, a really, really good way of getting people to make the decision faster. Again, make it real, make it, you know, make sense. Don't make it some crazy, weird stuff. Most people will understand that they need to make a decision. We're in a business. We're here to help specific people get specific solutions. If you're not going to make a decision, however, I'm going to find someone who will. Okay, that was a lot to take in. Who's ready for today's action? I want you to put together what you feel is an irresistible offer for your business or your service. Now, for example, if you're in e-commerce, how can you bundle things together, right? So you know how sometimes on Amazon you get, if you buy this, you know, this is part of the package, like, for example, a stand or a light fixture or, you know, whatever. This kind of put a kit together. So how can you put your best offer together using your unpacking, your training, using some bonuses, price justification, risk reversal, urgency, right? You can use all of them, or you can use 1 or 2 of them, whatever it is that you want. But start putting together your offer. And then, you know, make a video, go live, present it. Okay, I'm going to show you an example of how to do this tomorrow because I am going to be making you an offer tomorrow. And you will see then how I do it. Now, I'm not perfect at it, but I am getting better at it. I should be. I've been doing it for about 35 years. So, I understand how to put together an offer, and I will do my best at presenting it. And, I'm real, at least. I'm authentic about it. I know I'm still learning. Everyone is learning every day. If we don't learn, then we might as well be dead, right? So learn from the heart. Tomorrow is day 5, and tomorrow I am going to show you my momentum matrix. One of the biggest things that I see happen for lots and lots of people is that when they start a challenge, they start amazingly with these habits and then they lose momentum. And I'm going to show you how you can keep up your momentum. Who'd like some of that? How to keep your energy high, all right? And how you can tap into it whenever you want it or whenever you need it. Great stuff. Okay, I'm starting to lose my voice. Okay, so everyone, I've shown you the roadmap. I've shown you how it all works. I've shown you bits and pieces to really help you how to grow your business by just knowing your niche and, being the best in your offering. Because seriously, just those things in themselves automatically are going to grow your business, okay? So now you know what to do. You know where to focus, how everything works, what the results are that you're going to get, and you know the audience that you're going to be working with. Wow, and all of that in 5 days. Amazing stuff. Now you need to know the offer, okay? Now, I've obviously given you so much more in between. I've given you, pretty much everything and the kitchen sink thrown in. And tomorrow, we're going to make sure that we're going to keep going up and up and up, and we're going to keep growing. Thank you, everyone, for showing up today. Thank you. You deserve all the success that you have and all that you're going to get. Keep putting in the hard work. I just want to be your advocate. I want to help you get there. I want to be your support system to help you get to the next level in your business. So I'm going to say this again. I truly appreciate you. It is an honor to help you. I love being committed to you these 5 days, and I love helping you learn and grow. So let's finish what it is that we started here, my friends. This is day 4. Tomorrow's day 5. That's going to be our finisher. Do whatever it takes to watch all of these 5 videos and to start building the habit to finish what it is that you start. Have an amazing rest of the day. Bye for now.